Jay, what's up, dude?
Not much, man. What's going on, Jordan?
Not much. But yeah, I get love from people that are here. A lot of my business comes from the front door, but I get some business from upstairs.
Cool.
And it's a cool community.
Nice, yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers to you. What do we got here? A little espresso?
Yeah, this is my house espresso.
Oh, it's nice. Big flavor, robust. Digging it.
Pretty tasty.
I like big flavors myself.
Nice. So, Jay, what's going on, dude?
Not a whole lot. Stoked to be here. Glad you guys invited me.
I'm glad to have invited you. So, this is my first time really meeting you, getting to know you, which is the first for the podcast. So, that's
Awesome.
kind of cool. You're
Stoked.
podcast number 3.
Yeah, you're in for some surprises, man.
Oh, sweet. So, you're a mixologist. Do you like the term mixologist?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can be a little douchey. I think that, a craft bartender, I prefer.
Right.
We definitely put a little bit more thought into how we build our cocktails and the ingredients that go into it. Make no mistake, I made a lot of money off the word mixologists.
Nice.
And I think in the appropriate times, it can be used. For the person who's not familiar with the restaurant business and who's really kind of like blown away by the mystery of that, sometimes it's appropriate there.
Cool.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, like, you could call it a mixologist, but really every bartender should be that upper level that you might call a mixologist, right? Like, I mean, bartending.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it just kind of implies that the people take it serious.
Yeah, like some next
seriously.
level of, like, specialty almost.
They're creating. How about that? They're creating recipes.
Oh, that's cool.
Many times, yes.
Amongst other things, you have a pizza joint too, is that right?
Yeah, so I have 2 restaurants. I got my start definitely making cocktails, which led me into consulting for bars and whatnot. So I got hired as a consultant to open up a bar in East Greenwich, and long story short, I kind of ended up becoming an owner. Got into that, and then there was a pizza shop that was closing down across the street. So more of like an opportunity. I never thought I'd be into pizza, but it's worked out pretty well.
Cool,
so
dude.
far. Yeah.
Nice. How's COVID affected things?
Yeah, COVID has dramatically affected things for sure. Obviously, a majority of our sales and revenue has been cut down very significantly. So I think that it's been tough, but at the same time, you can't beat your head up against the wall because it'll just fucking drive you nuts, man.
Yeah, it sucks.
So you try to look at it as an opportunity to tighten up your business and kind of like test your mettle as a business owner. Like, you're gonna figure it out, or are you just
Adaptability.
cower in a corner, and we figured it out, and our only plan is that we were gonna go into this on a weekly basis with our eyes open, knowing that there's curveballs coming that we didn't see. So every week we had to kind of make an adjustment. And then with the style of my bar, which is called Kai Bar in East Greenwich, we're a late night cocktail lounge. We do our 83% of our business was done after 9:30. Okay, just to kind of give you an idea. So when they decided that we had to close at 10, it was a whole nother blow. That was kind of tough for us. But again, we adapted. So.
Yeah.
And I should say my clientele has been extremely supportive because they all just shifted when they go out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I lost about probably 30% of revenue, I would say, but it could be worse. I'm paying all my bills. I'm still open.
Nice.
So you stay positive, rock and roll. We sell booze. We throw a party every night. That's our job. So the show must go on,
People say, oh, well, it's okay because everyone's in the same boat. And that doesn't really do anything for me. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care that everyone's in the same boat. This boat sucks. Right? They're like, that doesn't really
We're
do
all in
anything
it
for me.
together.
Yeah.
It's the new
Don't
norm.
care. I don't want to drown. I don't care who's on the boat. I don't want to drown. But I don't know. All right, dude. So you tell me. Tequila, just neat. Just pour it. Now, my wife was telling me, I always think, and I don't know, I'm so ignorant to everything. Like, if it's red wine, don't pick up the glass. Just pour it right in. So should I pick up the glass when I pour tequila, or does it not matter at all?
I don't know. I mean, I think tequila is all about having a good time. And,
so it's just for fun.
Just
fun.
let it rip, man.
All right,
yeah.
that's sweet.
Absolutely. We got Casamigos today. Pretty solid.
So you got a decent amount of tequila and then having a good time, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Nice pour.
Steady hand.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, Nick. This one's yours, dude. I can't do. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, boys. You gotta make eye contact with everybody, or else it's 7 years bad
Oh,
sex.
shit.
Yeah, who can afford that?
In Bulgaria, it's worse than that.
Do tell.
I don't think it's appropriate for a podcast.
You grew up in Newport? Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, life in Bulgaria is bad luck in general.
Oh, shit.
You made it all the way here, though. You know, good thing they put holes in that shipping container.
Dude, I wouldn't have been able to breathe.
Oh, shit.
Oh man.
DJ.
Anyways, it's probably a very niche part of the demographic that might be offended by that. So sorry to anyone that came over here on a shipping container. Cheers to you.
shit.
You're here though, and you're listening to this, so you have technology. So you've
This is
done all
the
right.
unacculturated podcast, so we're good.
Yeah, perfect.
So you grew up in Newport?
I did. I grew up about 4 or 5 blocks from here. Went to this school, this is so trippy, man. This
Yeah,
is my
wild.
first time here since then, and I think I drive my wife and my son nuts. Like every time we drive by, I'm like, that's the school
Nice.
I went to.
Yeah.
And now it gets to the point where my son's
Yeah.
like developed sarcasm. He's like, "Oh, really? Tell me more about that." So yeah, man, this feels like home. Feels like home, man.
Cool.
Really cool with what they did here as well. Yeah, it looks awesome.
Oh, dude, upstairs is really cool looking, too.
Yeah.
So what are the names of your restaurants?
So we have Kai Bar,
Yep.
which is in East Greenwich, and then the pizza place is called Slice and Company, which is directly across the street from Kai Bar. So we sell pizza by the slice. We do a New York style. I hate to say New York style because I feel like there's people from New York and, they have these expectations and,
You
we
bring the
make
water over from New York?
Yeah, fuck that, man. That's such bullshit. Those people hang out with the mixologists.
Oh, shit, right, nice, okay.
So basically, the pizza spot, while I was doing my restaurant consulting, I was working a gig in North Carolina. I was helping a chef with his beverage program in his restaurant. So I spent some time down there, and it was kind of a situation where it was similar to this. It was kind of like a reclamation project where they took an old mill and they put a couple of breweries in there and really cool forward-thinking artist village, because this mill was surrounded by all this housing and these other buildings. And so one of the spots was the restaurant I was helping open up, and then next door to it was this cat from New Jersey who was making pizza, and it was just like fire. Like there was always a line around the block. He would sell out of pizza, and it was one of those situations where he's like, "I'm fucking out, get here earlier," type of deal. And I fell in love with it, and I got to know him, and we always stayed in contact. Yeah, and then when this pizza place became available across the street, I kind of just shot him a message, just, hey, here's a pizza place, what should I do? I knew what he would say, you should do it. But then he followed it up with, yeah, man, I'll fly up there and I'll, give you a 3-day crash course in it. So he did, man. He came up, he totally embraced the project. So one of the things I like to do is when I consult somewhere else outside of the area, I try to gather a piece of the local history, the local, culture, what they drink, what they eat. And I try to bring that into the restaurant and create a familiar element, on the cocktail list. So Yeah, I took him out. He had never been around, so we took him to a few spots. We took him to some spots we liked. There's a pizza spot up in Providence, Fellini. I think they do a pretty nice job. And then we went to, Olgie's Trailer Park, and then we wrapped up the night at Olneyville, New York System Wieners. And this guy, he's like, if you just picture him, he's a big, jolly cat. And we had been drinking all night, and he was like, fucking hot dog and coffee milk? He's like, what the fuck? And then fast forward to like 15 minutes later, this big jolly guy's eating and drinking. He's just like, this is fun. This fucking works, man. This totally fucking works. I get it. And I think it really, it changed. It's some stuff that he brought back, you know what I mean, to North Carolina. And that's really kind of the beauty of like being a part of this community and surrounding yourself with forward-thinking, creative, original people, because it just cross-pollinates all this stuff. So, this guy came in, he taught me how to make pizza, he gave me his dough recipe. It was insane. So we just spent, 3 days rocking out with him, and then a couple weeks after that, just, fucking around with dough and all this stuff. And then it was, it was game on, trial by fire, so.
It's not the dough recipe that's like my buddies used to do, this Neapolitan or something, where it's like it'd be a big piece of dough, they'd cut it in half and feed it and use half. Is it like that?
Yeah, that's like some fucking gangster shit right there. It's not like that, but I definitely appreciate. That's like taking the craft to a whole nother level.
Okay.
That's wild. I mean,
you'd have to have huge amounts. They were called, my homies, pizza box. They were took a trailer, built a wood-fired oven on the trailer, and then put walls up around the wood-fired oven. And then they had so it's not like a Cambro, but like a Cambro, but like this. For anyone watching the video, this big. Anyone's just doing audio, it's this big with my hands.
It's like that. 3 bread boxes put together.
Yeah, okay, a bread box, sure. And they had that, and that's all they needed. So I don't know, it was probably 20 pounds of dough or something. They used half, or maybe more than half on busy days, right?
Yeah.
They'd feed it, shit tons of flour and water, and it would sit there, and then the next day they'd have half again to use.
That's wild. Yeah, I listened to this cool pizza podcast, and they had a whole episode with some guy talking about that. That's wild. I mean, we definitely do an authentic style. We feed it live yeast, and we make the dough. Only my wife and I make the dough. No one knows the recipe except for us. Cool. You got to guard that shit, man. We got a good dough. We really do. And people talk about it all the time. Our crust is banging. And one of the first things that this guy taught me when he gave us his recipe is like, don't fucking give this recipe to anyone. That was kind of part of the deal, which I just loved right away. It just kind of like made me feel like I was a part of something that was just like, yeah, man, I got like these goods that no one else can get their hands on. And we've since like tweaked it a little bit to make it our own. And, a lot of these pizza guys who really care about the craft, they say that their dough is never really done. You're always messing with it. So I totally get that.
Does the weather affect it every day?
Yeah, it does actually. And so we're about 1.5 years into this right now, this project. So we've definitely learned that, we have to regulate the temperature to a degree in there. When it's really humid out, the dough rises quickly, and you're on the clock, and you got to keep a fan off of it, or else a little crust develops on top. So it's wild. It's science, man. It really is, and I'm super into it.
Yeah, I hope you don't get into coffee next and open a spot on Broadway.
Oh God, man, no, that's all you, man. we're on the same team. I love it. Yeah. I'll let you handle the coffee.
Sweet.
Yeah.
There's a truck in town called a Mono. The thing is sick.
You know what's fucking wild, man? Is I just saw this last night. All right, my
dude.
son was having a fundraiser at Portsmouth Middle School, and we drove out there, and there's this truck, and it's like, holy shit, it's like there's a big glass window. It's like, what? And I just sat there.
What the fuck?
My son's like, let's go home. And I'm just like looking. I'm looking around the other side for fucking propane tanks or how they got this thing set up. And it's just wood, right?
Or fuck, it is wood, yeah.
They have a propane tank maybe in the back.
No, if they're listening, they're going to say, what the fuck? They have 2 trucks. The first one's wood-fired. The second one's gas-powered. And so the first one is the bigger one. I think it's blue. I think the second one might be red.
Yeah.
They have 2 trucks now. And the bigger one has a big glass wall. and that one's wood fired, and he told me it's freezing in there. The oven doesn't keep it hot. And the second one helps in the summer because, so even though it doesn't keep it hot, in the summer it gets really hot. I guess it's because it's a metal truck. It's kind of like when I used to be at the post office as a mailman. The sun beats down on these things. It's like an oven. Sun beats down and heats it. And then in the wintertime, there's no insulation. It's just metal. It's almost like it's conducting outside.
No shit.
So the second truck, to keep it cool in the summer, this is my understanding, the whole wall comes up or it folds out to the side. And for anyone listening, and I'm not doing it justice, go to Instagram, check out the Amano trucks and stuff. They're cool. They're good people.
Yeah, I got to reach out to those guys. I'd love to know them. You know what I mean? And see how they set that up. And we'll make a pact that I'll stay off their turf if they're willing to share some stuff.
It's pretty badass, dude. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know East Greenwich. How's East Greenwich?
East Greenwich, all right. So growing up in Newport, East Greenwich is funny because it's just kind of in between here in Providence, and it's kind of off Route 4. So my first time ever going to East Greenwich was to look at the space of the restaurant that I own now. If that says anything to you. And
Cool.
at that time, I was 35.
Cool.
I'd never been to East Greenwich before. So East Greenwich it's really cool. There's one little main drag, so creatively named Main Street. Okay.
Yeah.
And on this street, I would say there's about a dozen restaurants. There's a really cool old theater. There's a really cool old hotel. It's really great, man. We've had a good time there. We just got in kind of when I think it was evolving a little bit. But there's only a couple of straight up beverage forward establishments there. We're lucky to be one of them. And the people have just been so receptive to our creativity and our craft, because I think a lot of these people would go to Newport or go to Providence, and now we kind of gave them something
Good
that they
for you.
could
That's
stay
so
in
sick.
town, and it's I think it's like the highest income community in Rhode Island, that and Barrington.
Oh, really?
Together, yeah.
I didn't know that. Warren's pretty badass too.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of Rhode Island has really evolved in the last 20 years or so, like really evolved and become a lot more just crafty.
Yeah.
It's
pretty
really
awesome.
Really neat. Are you from Rhode Island?
I grew up in Fall River.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, we could tell. I can go to a fun story about Fall River. It's gonna blow
let's
your
hear it.
fucking
Yeah,
mind.
tell me, dude.
All right, so I was with the Newport Restaurant Group for many years, and then I came out of that because someone approached me with an opportunity to take over an old club in Fall River
Which one?
and bring it back to life.
What is it?
Come on.
Coliseum?
Nope. Starts with
Belmont?
The Belmont.
Oh, really?
So the fucking Belmont. I went there to check
That's
it
where I
out.
kissed my wife for the first time.
No way, really?
Yeah, it took some balls.
It's a Fall
Took,
River
uh,
institution.
Maybe a whole beer and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. Oh, my friend got stabbed there. It was pretty gnarly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
People making love,
But
near-death
you can't
experiences, the whole nine.
you can't blame the guy for stabbing him because my friend stabbed him first. So you really
Okay.
can't blame the guy. You know what I mean?
Stabbing game.
Fucking crazy times in Fall River, dude.
So how does that work, like, legally? It's like offsetting penalties, so...
The ref.
players
It was a
decline.
draw, like Saturday.
Yeah,
They called it a draw.
perfect. No harm, no foul.
My friend, I won't use his name. I don't know. I probably could. He doesn't give a shit. But he at the Belmont, and everyone was drinking, and then this guy was hitting his girlfriend. So my friend was like, "Dude, stop that! No, fuck you! Don't tell me what to do." Blah blah. So then they're fighting. So then I don't know who stabbed who, but they stabbed each other. These kids are crazy. Fall River was crazy growing up, man. But anyways, the point of the story is my friend goes into the bar with a stab wound and sits at the bar, and he's like, I made it for the last call. You make me a drink. And the guy's like, dude, you're bleeding all over my bar. It wasn't you, was it?
No, I don't recall that. I don't recall that.
Yeah,
But
he was in jail. And then
I learned a lot about Fall River, man.
It's crazy. Yeah, you'll learn about Fall River at the Belmont.
It is, man. It was wild, but I mean, I really liked it a lot more than I thought I would. It
Cool.
was...
What year was this?
God, I'm trying to think. It was probably right around 2015, 2014. right when I took over, I'd been kind of coming off a cool stretch, winning some competitions and whatnot, making a name for myself. And I was on the cover of the Fall River Herald. They did this piece, like, mixologist guy coming to help revive the Belmont. And I came in, the place had a bit of a reputation, with the owners and being difficult to deal with and whatnot. But I figured I could change all that. Got in there. I think we broke some sales records in the first month after that publicity.
Good for you. That's so badass.
And then...
so when did you open Kai Bar?
I opened Kai Bar in 2017.
How long were you at the Belmont? A couple years?
3 months.
Oh, 3 months.
It was
Okay.
3 months. Yeah.
Oh, did you say it was like a consulting thing, or you?
No, I was coming in to take it over. I mean, we had
You
a
were
deal
sick of
going
cleaning the
with
blood off the bar.
I was. It was just. It just wasn't the right fit in the end. But definitely
It's
a piece
hard,
of my
dude.
journey that I wouldn't change a thing.
Dude,
it was humbling.
I would love to open a business in Fall River. I really would love to, but it's hard, man.
It was an interesting time because that place, I think it was called the Black Rabbit, had opened up. Do you remember that?
No, I wasn't around.
I think it was short-lived, but they tried to do like a speakeasy-style craft cocktail bar. I think the Tipsy Toboggan had
It's a
opened
sick
up.
location.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah, no doubt. So people were on board, man. There were people coming in and talking to me who were members of the community growing up, and they had gone off and made their money back, and there was this whole movement of people coming back into Fall River to help kind of lift it up,
Yeah, it's hard, man.
and that I really admired that. So it was kind
I
of
know.
cool to be
I
a
wish I
part
was
of
that
it
cool.
for that 12 weeks.
Did you guys have the blues night there? The guys, I think it was Wolf or something. Some guys come and played blues, open mic there and stuff.
Yeah, we didn't do any live music. I don't know why.
Is there a piano in there at the
Yeah,
time?
the piano was there, man. It was
Sick.
super beautiful. It was just,
Sick.
dude, I mean, I fell in love with the place the first time I went to go look. I chose to leave a pretty high-paying job to try to make that
Wow.
work, and it is just such a romantic, beautiful spot. And
Yeah, it's in the style of what other people are doing. How you turn a house into a
Sure.
shop, and then you got like the living room with a couch, and then you got a
Yeah.
piano and the dining room, and the bar is right there. Like all the
pretty sure it was the oldest operating liquor license in the state of Massachusetts.
oh wow, really?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
So, yeah, it had been going continuously. Prohibition excluded, obviously, but yeah,
It was a police run, wasn't it?
I don't recall.
Maybe originally it was.
maybe a long
like
time
a police
ago.
bar or something.
Then there was a family. There was a police presence there as far as the regulars
the
go.
PAL
for
is
sure.
across the street.
Yeah. Yep.
And you got St.
So-
John's right there, right? St.
Yep.
John's, and there's just 2 coffee shops just opened, literally right around the corner. Time Blossoms and X Bar, I think.
Nice.
Pretty cool,
Yeah. No doubt. So,
dude. Weird time to bartend, huh?
dude, it was.
I'm sorry.
You know what, man? It's been an awesome journey, though. I'll tell you that much. I can't imagine myself really excelling in another craft, man. I could never sit at a desk. I could never, you know what I mean? It's
We need to get you guys back to work.
yeah. I'm just like
COVID
in
sucks,
this
that's all.
very building. I would drift outside the window, looking at Jesus Savior Church many days a year, and just like fuck, man. It's so crazy, to think that this was all just a place where I developed here a lot,
That's wild.
Yeah, no doubt.
So how did you meet Nick? Where'd you guys work?
So one of the coolest projects I've ever been a part of is the Bouchard's restaurant Bouchard. They bought a building next door to it, and from what I remember, I think the Bouchards wanted to pick it up because of some uncertainties of what would happen or who would pick up that building, being so close to their restaurant. And so I think that they scooped it up, and they weren't even 100% sure about what the concept was going to be. So chef Albert Bouchard, and also owned by his beautiful wife, Sarah Bouchard, basically decided to do this concept called the revolving door, where the chef would change every few weeks, and the menu would change with it. And it just kind of like called out to me. So I had
cool.
to I was like, I had a lot of options for jobs and you know, coming off of a success where I actually won a competition that got me in GQ magazine as a
Where
top
was
40
that?
bartenders.
Holy shit.
Yeah, top 40 bartenders in the country. All of a sudden, a lot of doors opened up for me. But I
Yeah.
wanted to work at Revolving Door, and I think that the Bouchards were the only ones who like really didn't give a shit about who I was or what I accomplished. You know what I mean? They were just kind of like, "Who are you?" You know. So I had to actually like kind of follow up with these guys a bit to actually get them to let me do this. And so basically, yeah, it was myself and a chef named Josh Berman, who I believe you're talking to, basically we were kind of put in charge of this concept that's kind of never happened before in the world on this scale. So we had to take on a new chef. There was a lot of coordination. Obviously went with that. I think Josh would kind of coordinate with him on the logistics as far as what his menu was going to be. Had to help him source all these ingredients, and then I kind of handled the front of the house staff as well as the beverage program. And so Nick came along, I don't know, about a year or so into the concept, and you know, he was just kind of a goofball that I wasn't so sure about. I don't think anyone was really sure about him, you know, but he just came in and he was himself, and then he ended up fitting right in, and then kind of far exceeding our expectations because he's so hungry about knowledge, which is great. You
How
can't
old
teach
were you?
that.
How old were you at the time, Nick?
21.
21, dude.
21. I actually remember, I think you started when you were 20 because I remember being all fucking pissed off to learn that you had been drinking at my bar for like a month or so. I do. And so, yeah, Nick came in and, you know, I remember him being so passionate about the food, and it was kind of like annoying because whenever the chef was preparing something, Nick would be like hunched over his shoulder, and like
He'd be eating
finish
people's
the
French
dish,
fries
and
and
like
stuff.
Nick would like pick up the dish and like smell it like all close, like,
Nice.
oh, what is that? What is this? And everyone's like, man, get your fucking nose out of the dish, man. I'm trying to eat that shit, you know, next. And Nick was
Nice.
just like a sponge and always taking notes and always asking a bunch of questions. And then over time, he just became this part of the family that you know, we love so much. I'll tell one Nikolai story that always kind of sticks in my head is Halloween. we were open for Halloween, and I don't think anyone dressed up because it just wasn't that kind of restaurant. And Nick rolled in as fucking Dracula, but like not just any type of Dracula, just like fucking face paint, like realistic looking blood going down his mouth, and this huge ass cape and medallion, you know, on ribbon, this whole weird stuff. And look at that pour! Holy smokes! Cheers! Cheers!
All right, I'm gonna go grab a beer. Keep your story going.
Okay, all right. So, anyways, let me. Oh. So, anyways, yeah. Nick rolls in dressed like fucking Count Dracula, because I'm pretty sure, aren't you from Transylvania or somewhere near there?
It's kind of.
Bulgaria. Yeah, it's like the same
It's
thing.
actually funny. In some of the Dracula movies, he goes through Bulgaria.
Does he really?
Yeah, the area is about 2 hours from where I was born.
No kidding. So it's in your blood. It's in your blood. To say that Nikolai harnessed the role would be an understatement. So that he went for a table visit, and he was doing a lot of bussing tables and whatnot at the time, working his way up the ladder. And this dude cleared a table and like picked up a dirty plate, and then he like whoosh, like closed his cape over it. So like you couldn't see it anymore, and he would like, people were like fucking dying. And I want to say you even ran a couple dishes out of the kitchen, like he would bust it out of his cape and like drop the dish on the table. And man, that was great, man. Revolving Door was so cool. So 3 years I did that. 43 chefs we had in that time.
Holy shit.
Yeah, a lot of them stayed for 2 weeks to about 4 weeks. So it was constant. It was so wild. A lot of times the chef would start off on like a Wednesday or something like that, and we would have like a full menu tasting a couple days ahead of time, where we would just sit down and the chef would feed us this food. We'd ask questions, we'd take notes, we'd talk about it. Man, and I knew and I really savored it. Like while we were doing it, you know, I would always say to Josh, I'm like, this, we'll always look back on this fucking concept and be like, how cool was that? I would kill to do that again. I would love it if Revolving Door came back for like a month or two. You know, I'd be all over that.
We had people coming back just because of the concept.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, yeah,
So you would come in as a guest, sit down in your normal spot, but every time you come in, you get a whole new menu, a whole new cuisine. I mean, we had.
Different cocktails too.
Oh shit! Yeah, I changed up the cocktail list too. So I would usually have 2 or 3 cocktails that would pair up with the menu. We'd coordinate with the chefs a couple weeks ahead of time, look at their menu, and I would always challenge them. You know, give me an ingredient to use in a cocktail that ties into your menu that you've never seen and used in a cocktail before. So it definitely sharpened my game a lot. You know, and working with that many chefs, it kind of like helped me. I was still developing my style, which ended up being very culinary as far as my cocktails go, and it definitely comes from that project.
That's
So,
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Was there a lot of like food culture and people that appreciated this special thing happening? You got people coming from Providence, I imagine, a
For
lot.
sure. Yeah, people were coming from all over. Newport's kind of funny, man. It is a funny town as far as the restaurant industry goes. We definitely, it's very touristy heavy. I mean, I think a lot of people really stumbled across the restaurant for the first year or two, for sure. And then people kind of caught wind of what was going on there. And
So cool.
yeah, it was
a
so
special thing.
cool. It was such a special thing. And, you know, it changed the game, and it changed a lot of people's careers. There were a lot of chefs that came through there. All of them, 80% of them were in between jobs. And then a restaurant owners started becoming pretty hip to it and showing up and kind of scouting these guys out and just being like, hey,
Whoa.
you want a job, you know, type of deal. So I'm still friends with a lot of them. I mean, that cat who I helped out open up a restaurant in North Carolina, he was one of the guest chefs. You know, I have a few other people I keep in touch with and just kind of feed them drink recipes and help them out however I can. So
Sick, dude.
yeah, man,
You
really cool.
You work behind the bar?
I don't have shifts really anymore. My responsibilities have become more big picture. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have an admin
This
working
is a
for me.
discussion. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a discussion we've been having.
Mhm.
Like operator to owner, or in the light of what is that book? Good, Rich Dad Poor Dad. He calls it going from an S column to a B column, self-employed to business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where, right? Do you know these things? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I totally know what you're talking about, man. And I kind of had to learn on the fly. I didn't. Once I opened up my business, I didn't really have a mentor per se. I was all of a sudden the owner who was in charge of a lot of things. I picked up a lot of things from the past, you know, and kind of created my own thing. I would say that the Bouchards, who own the Revolving Door and Restaurant Bouchard, probably were the biggest impact on, and they helped me kind of round out my skill set to being very hospitality driven, but more so being hospitality driven towards my staff. Okay, I take care of my staff. They're my family, and that makes all the fucking difference in the world. I gotta tell you, man. You know, I have a staff at Kai Bar, and we didn't do Christmas parties. Instead of me dropping, you know, $2,000 on a fucking bowling alley and a 10-foot fucking Subway, you know, sandwich or some lame shit for a Christmas party. Not that would cost $2,000. It is fancy.
Holy
Well,
shit,
it's
man.
double meat.
That's downtown.
Double meat.
Oh, that would be
Yeah, it's a different story. Not-
Got the upcharges.
yeah,
dude. Got
banana
the upcharges
peppers, you
going.
know. So basically, what we do instead is a couple years I sprung for a really nice Airbnb, you know, so we get like a 4-bedroom spot, and we go. Usually, it ends up we going to Portland, Maine. Okay, and the reason why we go there is that town has got so many heavy hitter restaurants and bars, and everyone is so tuned in to their craft there. And so we go, we check out these spots, we talk about the drinks, we talk about the food, the presentation, we talk about the service, you know, the way the table's set, you know, the place setting, and it really gets everybody fucking like jazzed up. Not only that, but it's camaraderie. We're all going back to the same house and playing guitar and, having shots and smoking weed and doing whatever afterwards. And we really get to experience a really cool cultural thing. And I'll tell you what, man, they bring that stuff back. So I think the most, influential book I've ever read as far as my business was something called Setting the Table by a restaurateur called Danny Meyer.
Yeah.
So basically one of his big things was extend the hospitality to your staff that you want them to extend to your guests. And that's what I've done. To take care of my peeps. They take care of me and yeah, look at this.
Isn't taking care of your employees number one?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's a starting point. Is it number one? I mean, definitely you want to create a guest experience that's unique and whatnot.
Hi, Joanne.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of been, what's worked for us. So,
Cool. We have Joanne from the Chamber of Commerce here. Hi, Joanne.
What's up, Joanne?
Hi, I'm sorry.
We're happy to have you.
Okay.
So, being a part of this space is incredible. So, I'm here in this space. I have the building's mailbox in the shop.
Okay.
So, Joanne from the Chamber is grabbing her mail, right? So, I got the mailman, Derek, local homie, here every day bringing the mail. So, it's one big community here. It's been empowering to be surrounded by all the other people, and we're all one big group. It's really cool. It's unique. It comes with its challenges sometimes, but I think there's so much more to gain by being a big giant team. Because sometimes I kind of want to be like my own man, like off of my own, but being a part of something bigger, there's way more there. It's really cool. It's interesting. It's unique.
Well, you know what happens whether you're conscious of it or not is these people rub off on you and they add little sprinkles of something into who you are and how you do it and whatnot that affect you. So keeping yourself immersed in a community is such an important thing because all these conditions and people and your environment, they totally affect who you are and who you become. I mean, everything I've been a part of is you still take it with you, good or bad. Yep. I try to say every employee that's ever worked with me, I've learned something from. And even the real shitty ones, you learn things not to do. You know what I mean?
That's scary.
You learn about people, and you learn how to manage people better. I've certainly failed, numerous times before I got to where I am, where I fail less than I used to, but I still fail.
Yeah.
From time to time.
Something my friend Jeff has said to me a bunch of times. He was on the last podcast. He said it on the last podcast. Being a businessman is a self-improvement experience, something like that.
Totally.
The way he puts it. You're constantly learning your own faults, and as an employer, you're kind of like parent to a lot of people, maybe.
Sure.
Or some kind of weird role like that, right?
A lot of my employees in the past, I think it might even happen at Revolving Door, they jokingly call me dad. So, I kind of embrace it as a situation where I can kind of help. Not necessarily sit down and talk to people, but I try to lead by example, or I make comments here and there that, is maybe the angel on their shoulder. And, yeah, you do. You help guide people. I mean, most of these kids who I work with are, they're in their 20s and surround myself with good people, man. The hiring practices that I've learned to develop over the years have been the biggest key to my success.
It's
hands down.
It's scary to me.
Why?
Well, I'll just start by saying my dude Bailey is here right now. He's working behind us in the shop. Shout out to Bailey always. I can't wait to have Bailey on here. I don't know if I'm going to need like his parents and his parents' permission. I don't know. He's like 12 and a half, right, Bailey?
I disagree. Let's get him on here.
He's a good dude. And I also have my brother-in-law, Cole. He comes and helps me out, too, and that's pretty awesome to have family here.
Nice.
I like my family to be a part of everything that's happening.
Sure.
It's pretty cool. So Bailey has surprised me with how hard he works and how good of a job he does. I didn't know what to expect to be an employer. I'm a little bit scared, kind of want to tone myself down because I'm a very motivated person.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a few minutes ago, I was like, Bailey, go do that. When you're done with that, do that, do that, do that. And I was like, hey, dude, I'm sorry. I know I'm speaking intensely,
Yeah.
but that's what's going on up in my head. So you're doing a great job. I want to like make sure I project that you're doing a very good job. And I mean it when I say it too. He does an awesome job.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge part of the fucking craft, man. Is you got to make employees as stoked about achieving your goals as you are. So you got to figure out a way to do that,
How
man.
could you, yeah, that's insane.
Because you're doing it for a reason.
Or help them with their goals, right?
Totally, man. It's got to work for them as well as for you. It's a two-way relationship, man. And you got to kind of get to the bottom of who they are, and you got to manage everybody a little bit different. A lot of people are like, you got to fucking manage everybody the same. Well, to a degree, you got to hold people to the same standards, but there's a different way to get to every person. You know what I mean? You got to figure out what motivates them, because if it's a project that really works for their journey and where they're trying to get to, then it's a good thing. I mean, I've had people who have worked with me. I've lost all the best people I've ever worked with who are no longer, here at one point or another. And for the most part,
best people leave, right?
What's that?
The best people leave.
They do, because they've got to move on to a different journey.
Your business is kind of like a bus, and you're driving the bus, and your destination is far, far away that you don't even know, right? But people jump on the bus, and then they go for a ride, and then they get off. And so hopefully they've gotten closer to where they're going.
Sure.
But the bus keeps going, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know, it's kind of like scary and hard. It sounds very hard. Constantly.
Well, you got to go into with the right mindset, and that is the fact that you as well are a student from these people, though. You know what I mean? You're learning from these people. I mean, I've got a kid on my staff. I call him a kid. He's 23 years old. He's one of the wisest people I've ever met before.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? I learned so much. I learned so much from him, and how he's emotional intelligence, I think, is a real thing that will get you very far in life. And he has that. And I learned, and it's something that maybe I can do better with at times, because I'm so driven and I'm so wrapped up into stuff that when things don't go my way, or, sometimes I struggle. Even though it doesn't happen on the outside, you're internalizing shit, and you got to figure out how to fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not always successful with it, but that's one particular thing I've learned from this guy. And then I got another guy who handles himself in a way, where he doesn't prejudge anybody, and he's a rock, and he's solid. Then I got another dude who's just like eternally optimistic about things. And so I guess like the main point I'm getting across to all those people who are listening, and yourself who are going to be employers, is you look for people who have intangibles. And intangibles are something you can't touch, or you can't teach someone, and because that's something you can't impart on someone. Now, as an example, I'm talking about positivity, kindness, hardworking. You can't teach someone.
Pride in your work.
Yeah, you can't fucking teach someone to do that. I'll teach you how to make a cocktail. It's so much simpler than this. So you find people with these intangibles. I would tell you, over the course of the first 3 years of Kai, my entire bar staff has never bartended before.
You want to try? You want to try this Newport
Yeah,
Craft?
sure. Yeah, let's
Dude,
rock.
It's
Let's rock out.
insanely sweet. Insanely sweet.
What is this? This is from Newport Craft?
Yes, I don't have any sponsors. We're just drinking what
Okay,
we're
cool.
drinking, right?
Yeah, man, I
but
love
Newport
it.
Craft's the local guys.
I'm familiar. Yes.
This is amazing. It's my first beer from them in a long time, and I don't usually drink these dark syrupy beers like this, but it really, really is extremely sweet. Dude, there's another one in there if you want. I'm sorry I didn't grab one for
It's
you.
okay, there's 10-ounce port tequila.
Cheers again.
All right, now I gotta say, that's actually pretty good. I'm not a huge beer guy, but I tend to, I guess I'm in the minority that I prefer a malty beer. I'm not a huge IPA guy.
This is malt that we're
This is
experiencing,
fucking
right?
malt all the way through.
This is like molasses with some sugar in it.
This is taking me right back to the 1700s in Newport, where molasses was king here.
What do you make? You make rum with molasses?
You make rum with molasses. And there was a point in time around the U.S. Revolution where there was, these are facts that, I've been fed. And the liquor industry is tricky. But from what I was told, there was about 17 rum distilleries operating in Rhode Island, and then about 80 between Massachusetts, Rhode Island, the southern New England area. The triangular trade, obviously a very dark time in U.S. history, was dropping off a lot of sugarcane here in New England, Boston, and Newport.
I read about this. Sugarcane, you make molasses with sugarcane?
Absolutely. So you cook down sugarcane.
Okay, it's like caramel of sugarcane.
Exactly. You make molasses. You let the molasses ferment by using, natural or wild yeasts, and then you distill that, So there was some killer rum being made here. Wow. And, the same brewery / distillery brought back rum distillation here in the state of Rhode Island with Thomas II. I don't know how many years ago. It must be like almost 20 years now. But yeah, they make a killer rum, like in its true sense.
Where are they?
Newport Distillery, that your craft brewing, the stuff that we're drinking right here, right?
They have a distillery, right?
Yes. Yep, they do. Right
Newport
down.
Craft.
Yep. Right.
And
down.
these guys used to be Newport Storm. Is that
Correct.
right? Yeah?
Yes. So Newport Storm, I believe, was their flagship brew. I know that there was some changes over there. There was new partners in there or whatnot. I know Brent and Derek Luke, who were a couple of the originators there. I think there's another presence there of ownership. So I know they've made some changes. But yeah, it's good stuff. They got a lot of love for it, and Newport really deserves something like this for sure.
Nice. Do you know if they do anything else than rum?
As far as spirits go, they do. They do. I think they make a gin, and they make a vodka as well.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it's good stuff. They'd be some interesting people to have on your podcast here.
That'd be cool. I'd love to reach out to them. I will.
Yeah, rock and roll, whatever I could do to help out with that.
Oh, that'd be cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Interesting, cool people, especially cool local people like you and them. It's sick.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of people really doing some neat stuff in this town. There's a lot of forward thinkers and a network I'm proud to be a part of. Even though I'm in East Greenwich right now, I'm definitely in tune to what's happening in Newport. I'd love to open up a place in Newport someday soon. As soon as the liquor licenses drop down to like $10,000, I'm down. But I needed to come down about $350,000, which I'm holding out for. Who knows what'll happen, but I love this town. I would love to open up a bar here, but obviously it's a very elusive thing to become, a part of that community right now. So who knows someday, but I am planning on opening up a second location of Slice and Company, and it'll be in Newport probably in the next year.
Sick.
I got my eyes on a couple places. They're still operating businesses.
Oh shit.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
But you know what? You gotta be a G. You do.
Fuck.
I mean, I guess this is weeding out the businesses that are not functioning and that are not being operated.
No,
super
dude.
well.
But dude, it's killing restaurants led by some of the greatest people, isn't it? Someone like huge restaurateur and chefs and shit are closing their spots in New York.
Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting. Dave Portnoy from Barstool just had a great rant online about just what's happening with restaurants closing, and it's really kind of a slippery slope. Without getting too far into politics, we'll dip our toe in it here a little bit.
You can go as far into politics as you feel like going.
Oh, fuck that. I don't want to alienate people.
Yeah.
I'm a public figure to those patrons of mine who come hang out. But I will say this. It's tough. It's tough on all sides because the people in office want, the economics. They realize how important the economics of their community is, and they also have to protect the public. So it's really tricky. It's a really slippery slope. Thankfully, the first vaccines are being delivered, as of today, you know what I mean, to the state. And so we are in the process, and I'm very grateful for that. And maybe people should really kind of think about that for a second, is the fact that we've got a vaccine very quickly. How the efficacy of it will be, who knows, time will tell. But, you know, the tests seem to be looking good. And I think this spring and summer are going to be fucking bananas.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be sick.
I think so.
Fuck
so
yeah.
that's what we're kind of keeping.
Everyone's itching to get
Yeah,
out.
I think so. And, so I'm excited for it. And I'm excited to hug my friends and see all of our people back. And, I'm stoked, so 2021 is going to be a great, great year.
What do you think about being a new business like mine, just opening this year, constant changes, brand new, growing too fast? Is it a thing?
That's such a thing, man. It really is. I opened up a second restaurant across the street from Kai about 2 years ago, and it was too much for me. And it took me diving. I was very ambitious, and I actually was opening up the pizza place at the same time. So I had 3 restaurants on the same block. And I figured because they were on the same block that would be easy. There was a lot of forces that I was forced to work with that were adversity. You'll always have that. But growing too quick is definitely a thing. You need to focus on your baby. Get that right.
Yeah.
Get some people in place that will take care of it, and also, carry on with your culture and whatnot. But yeah, for sure, that restaurant that I opened up, in a lot of ways, it was a fucking disaster, and I learned tremendously from it. And we were lucky enough to sell it. I didn't lose any money. I actually made money off of it.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of weird. But
do you know everyone in East Greenwich now?
I know a lot of people in East Greenwich.
Yeah.
We're a part of a community, that I'm happy to. One thing that's cool about East Greenwich and a lot of the restaurant industry is anyone comes to me with a question or anything I could do to help them, and vice versa. Just spread the fucking love, man.
It's wild, isn't it? It's wild being in like the hospitality industry, and you get to know people, and they mean a lot to you.
Sure,
They are
absolutely.
your true friends. They're your people.
Yeah,
It's
for
wild.
sure. And there's so much to learn from this business, and it's a real tricky business. I mean, if you're netting 6% profit on all the sales that come in, then you're doing a pretty solid job, which says a lot. And then there's all sorts of numbers out there, like 50% of the restaurants fail in the first year. Yeah, dude, it's tough, man. So you gotta. It's tough for people like you and I. We do it for the love, but at the same time, I've seen a lot of people who do it for the love fucking fail. Because they've got to figure out a way to
I don't
not
want to be one of those guys, dude.
Nah, man. You know what? So long as you're willing to not abandon who you are, but also take a look at the bottom line.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on your books, man.
I think it's time to stay lean right now.
It's time to stay lean for sure. In this time in the restaurant business, I know every single person that's listening or watching this right now has had to make some tough layoffs. And
It's sucky.
it is. It's sucky. But for the most part, the government has stepped up and supplied a lot of us with some means that if we didn't have it, we would have failed for sure. I'm not saying that's worked out for everyone, but for the most part, there's been some resources available.
If you don't feel comfortable answering, you can just say, I don't want to go there. The pause grant, and you do the pause grant.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, it can't hurt to go after it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be happy to help you out with that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've applied for every single thing that's available.
Of course. That's smart business,
You
right?
know, the worst I could do is be like, nah, you don't qualify for that. The pizza place and the bar, they're doing 2 separate things right now. The pizza place, in some ways, has benefited from this being a takeout establishment at a time when only takeout was available during that initial lockdown. we improved in some areas. Not only did we improve in some areas, but I also learned a lot about my businesses in the way of like, okay, I don't need that position as much as I thought I did. I can do X, Y, and Z rather than paying X, Y, and Z person to do it.
Back of the, not back of the house, but like back room positions. You're talking accounting.
Yeah, I could break down a fucking box. You know what I mean? I could do the kitchen. I wash dishes. I mop floors. I do everything that I've always been someone who, and I'm gonna quote Dave, the guy who founded Wendy's.
Cool.
He said, and I actually read this guy's
burgers
book.
are always fresh, never frozen.
He
Heard
said
that before.
That
yeah.
is true, but he also said you've got to have an MBA, which is a mop bucket attitude. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And still to this day, if someone pukes in the bathroom of my bar, which believe it or not happens, okay, I'm usually kind of the first one to go and do it. You know, because your staff sees that and they're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? That's my guy's willing to do it, then I got to be willing to do it as well. And now we're to a point where someone else beats me to the punch, which is crazy to say, but you do. You got to have that attitude, man. You got to be able to be right there with the team when it's time to do a bar clean or scrub a floor or whatever, man. You got to fucking rock out with your boys. You know what I mean? So
Cool, dude.
So, Jay, I want to ask you this. We don't have a microphone for me, so maybe my audio's not good. But maybe we can start a GoFundMe for a third microphone eventually. Jay, what is your biggest takeaway from 2020? What have you learned? I'm sure it's been a big learning experience. What is your biggest takeaway from everything that's happened in this very bizarre year?
You know, I figured out that I love my wife. I do, you know, and it's
It's a
like
nice thing to figure out here.
it really is. Mrs. Kindness is a very special person who, you know, in the toughest of times, you show your true colors, and my wife's been fantastic and by my side, and we've gone through a lot of things. But I guess from a professional standpoint, is you've got to be adaptable, and I learned that, and I think a lot of business owners have learned that. You got to be able to adapt to the situation. We're in a very, very tough business, and maybe the business that's one of the businesses that have been most affected by this whole thing. And you got to make some tough decisions, and you got to be able to utilize what you've been given, and you know, fuck, man, I learned a lot this year. I've also learned that, and I think a lot of people are going to take this away, and we're going to see it a lot this upcoming summer, is that we need each other. We need to feed off each other. I think that concerts will be something kind of that's a whole different vibe, and being in bars and camaraderie and whatnot. But I really miss being close to people and really absorbing their energy, because that's something that you didn't realize how much was a real thing until this year, fucking 2020.
We took it for granted.
For sure, man. You know, for sure.
So at Kai, you have no counter but tables.
We have tables, yeah. The bar has not been sat since we reopened. We decided not to. The thing about Kai also is that it's a mix and mingle place. Our fire code is 72 in there. There were times when we've probably gone one or two person over. You know, that basically it's a standing room only situation. And one of the things that you notice now that makes it's really difficult to be a single guy nowadays. I'll notice that because
they said on the radio this morning in Brooklyn, sales of sex dolls went up 25 to 200%.
No shit.
Yeah, and average sales like $3,000.
Wow.
These like silicone
$3,000
things.
sex doll.
Yeah, we just got this book. It's called Sex Dolls and Vegan Meat, something like that. The girl was on Joe Rogan's show. Yeah, dude, it's fucking interesting. Sex dolls and vegan. It's something like that. And it's about, part of the book is about technology and are we in control of this thing taking over our life?
Yeah.
Like, is technology something that grows that we're in control of, or is it something that it's gonna happen whether, like, they're gonna put regulation on shit? I don't know, but yeah, dude, it gets into some crazy shit, and the sex doll industry is fucking wild, and
Yeah.
they get into like, okay, so and this is like straight out of Joe Rogan, one of my inspirations for the podcast, right? Because he's owned it.
Yeah,
It's
for
fun.
sure.
He created this thing, this beast that's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And he talks about they were talking about on the show these dolls, how these guys, it's like, okay, so is it okay to make dolls that look like kids? Is it okay to make dolls that you can kill? Well, and it's just this wild shit, and then like when you regulate, okay, when do regulations stop? So it's like this whole fucking wild thing. Anyways, leaving the sex dolls, check out this bar I used to work at.
Okay.
And I better
cool.
follow them too. This is a vegan bar. These guys are so fucking cool.
You know,
I love these
my
people.
my wife is she doesn't eat meat
this
or
guy's-
dairy. So by and by, where's this?
Portland, Oregon.
Oh, no shit.
These guys are so fucking cool. These guys took care of me when I was growing up. So I went to...
What did you like about them? What did they impart on you as far as...
They took care of us.
Yeah.
I worked in the kitchen, like kind of like a bar back food runner position, somewhere in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so a funny story. I went to this guy and he was hiring. So I went and applied.
What's his
because...
name?
Oh, I forgot. Fuck. Thanks a lot, man.
Is that Clyde?
No.
Clyde Delicious?
No, fuck.
No.
It's been a while. So I stopped eating meat, right? And so I wanted to work there as a cook. And so I went in and he's like, "Why do you want to work here?" And I was like, "I want to learn how to cook vegan food, man. I want to see what you guys are doing. I just want to learn how to cook vegan food." And so everyone was trying to work there because it was kind of the cool spot. And so he's like, "I see on your resume you got a college degree. What the hell do you want to work here for?" And I was like, "I don't know. Why not?" And so right before I went there, I went to another place, and I learned a lesson. The guy says, "So what do you want to do for a living, and like for the rest of your life?" And I was at an interview to be a cook, and so he asks me, "Fuck, I'm sorry, it's leaving me. I'm a little sleepy."
Why are you sleepy, Jordan? You want to talk about this for a second?
Because I'm in main fucking hustle mode, man. 6 days a week.
I love that.
I love what I do too much. I drink a
No such thing.
lot of coffee.
No such thing.
Um,
So these cats imparted, and you went there, and you became, a sponge of some sort for what they were doing here. That you've taken something with you. This guy right here, what is he doing? Is he looking at
I don't know. It's just Instagram.
the whiskey or the glass?
He's a lot of fun.
Making sure the glassware is clean.
He's a great dude.
Oh, look at
I think
that.
he was just posing. Oh, this is the bar here.
Oh,
It was just a community, man. What did I love about it? Community, welcoming. They were cool, but they didn't give a shit if they were cool or not. Like, they were cool because they didn't care. You know what I mean? Other people were doing all these hip, trendy, like people would worry about being. They didn't care. They did what they liked.
yeah.
It was just fun.
You know what? It's crazy. The thing that people are missing the most in this business. What is this business called? It starts big H word, right?
Hospitality.
Hospitality. But everyone fucking skips that part because they try to be too cool. You know what I mean? And you go and sit
hate
at a bar.
elitism.
Yeah. I mean, like, and it's like, even some of the spots I go to in like Portland, Maine, or whatever. The guys are too cool for school. They put more thought into which vest they're wearing that day than to how is your experience going? How are you affected by this? Are you going to take something away from you? It's like one of those things where like we just forget about the business that we're in. And so it's hospitality first. Hospitality first.
It can be fucking draining.
It can, but you know what? Your drinks can fucking suck. Your music might not be right. Maybe your lighting's a little bit too bright. But if you get the hospitality down and you capture something, what people want to feel, and they love the way they feel when they're there, then you will never, ever, ever lose in this business. Really. You know what I mean? And everyone skips that. It's always kind of mind-blowing when you go to my bar and people are just so wowed by the fact that we are a very casual bar that gives a fine dining style of service. We really are. And that's kind of like paid dividends 100 times over for us. And people drop the ball on that shit. And I hate to see it. At the same time, I'm like, all right, cool, I'll take care of that. And it's a layup for me, you know? So judging by this place that you had to, you worked at or whatever, and it seems like they imparted some of that on you.
They did, and I'm sorry to be looking at my phone. I just wanted to bring this video up because it's very it's cool. These guys are really cool. I want to share this with you real quick. See what you think. See if how this works out.
Who's this guy?
And I went and got some delicious pho at a place called the Noodle House in Marina. If you ever passed.
Just real quick, this guy is Jared, and I believe he's one of the co-owners of Cat and Cloud, and I was actually talking about him on my last podcast. I had watched this video right before my last podcast. These guys are pretty cool. They talk about what it's like to own a business and to be in the thick of it, and they're great. Let's see what you think.
What's up, everybody? Check it out. I had a moment this weekend. I went and got some delicious pho at a place called the Noodle House in Marina. If you're ever passing through there, go to it. Go check it out. It was referred to me for their delicious traditional pho. Pho is this yummy soup that I love. So I go there expecting to get yummy pho. And I had this experience, and I walked out. I was like, man, they were really nice. That was amazing service. And then I thought to myself, what did they actually do that made that service feel special to me? And then it kind of dawned on me that I don't actually have an expectation for quality service. And that was a little bit of a bummer to me. And then I continued to dissect the transactional time, the whole experience. And what I thought and remembered and noticed all that at the same time is that the people were just genuinely nice, and they were into what they were serving. They were not exceptionally like over the top in any capacity. What it was is I went in there, they were very welcoming and pretty straightforward, simple. They took my order, they were nice in the process, they repeated it back really nicely, simply, and then they asked if I wanted my boba tea for now and to drink while I was waiting for the order. And I said, yeah, I'll take some boba tea for my family. And so I got it and I went out, and then I came back, my order was ready, and what they did was they said, hey, you want any sauces with that? And I said, yeah, I'd like one extra peanut sauce, my wife wanted that, and then I would like whatever sauce you think would go good with the traditional pho. And the girl was like, well, do you like spicy? I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, cool. You know what you should have? You should have 2 chili oils, 1 of our chili sauce, and then I'm gonna give you some hoisin, which I don't think you need, but you should, just in case some people like the hoisin. Other than that, I would eat it with chopsticks and then just drink the broth. And I was like, awesome. And she's like, you're gonna love it. Got it, went out the door, and it was really insanely good. But here's what tripped me out. The whole thing, I left going, man, this was awesome. The place was fine, kind of boring. The people were masked, delightful people, right? Pandemic. So what were my takeaways? How easy is it to blow someone's mind by being nice? And let's be real. Like I don't get my mind blown very easily. So one, I went there because I expected quality. I got quality. If you're in specialty coffee, or if you're in any industry that is, and you're at a level beyond maybe the fast food scope, you're probably getting people coming expecting really high quality. So one, you can let them down there. But two, you can blow their mind with just being engaged with what you're selling. You can be engaged by knowing what it is, knowing how it tastes, knowing how to make it the best experience it can be, and then being honest about your perspective. And you can only be honest about your perspective about the products you serve and all of that if you know, if you care, and if you're engaged. So my takeaways were, these people are engaged, these people care about their product, and they care about being nice to somebody. So please, do not waste the opportunity to change somebody's day by missing the opportunity to be nice, and do not miss your own opportunity to show up by not being engaged with what you sell, serve, or offer to people. You might not think your job is that meaningful, and that's on you, and that's fine. But I can tell you something. I thought about the two people who I interacted with, and I thought, man, I would hire them. And I'm just a person who cares about culture. What about you and your future could be impacted by somebody at a high-level position somewhere that notices that you care, that you're going to get after it, and that you're going to make a difference. Everything you're about to do with your future has to do with how well you can serve. Unless you just want to be a status quo cog in a wheel. And there's nothing wrong with being that. But if you want to be more, if you want to make a bigger impact and you want to feel what it feels like to make an impact and help people, be your best, be nice, and it is that simple. All right, I hope y'all are having a good day. I hope that was helpful. I hope that gets you juiced. I would...
That related to what we were talking about, right?
Yeah, totally. Totally.
It goes a long way.
It does.
He put a little emphasis on the product too, but just to be cool with people, to love what you do, and to be kind, right? It is to people will love it like.
For sure, because it's unusual.
That somebody cares about you?
It's unusual, man. It really is, and that's why there is some opportunity to crush it in this business, is because people fucking mail it in. They're zombies. They go through the motions and they treat it like a normal job, and there's definitely some challenges in the hospitality business because the people who tend to gravitate towards this business are they've had issues and challenges being a part of society.
People buy you, not just your product. As Jay-Z once said, shout out to Jay-Z. I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man.
Yes. Is that Blueprint or?
Well, that's talking about the importance of brand, right? Brand is very important.
Yeah, for sure. It really is. And what's your brand going to be?
My brand? My brand is that I love coffee. And I do want to teach people that it's good to enjoy. I guess the whole craft movement is teaching people that, but to enjoy things at the next level. It's not always about just functionality. Maybe a little bit of like love in it too, right?
Yeah, totally.
Even if you have one coffee instead of 5, like have an awesome coffee.
There's a lot of people who don't just want coffee, but they want to be a part of something. A lot of people who don't want to sit at a bar, they want to be a part of something.
The experience.
Yeah, and we talk about being an operator and owner and whatnot. Like a lot of my job right now is I kind of fill the gaps of my staff during service, but I sit down with a lot of tables just for 5 minutes and, I learn about them and, we call it collecting dots, which you'll find in this book, which is little tidbits about people, and then connecting the dots. Like we find out, oh, you're from Wisconsin. Oh, okay, cool. My bartender's from Wisconsin, and then this, that, and the other. But yeah, basically, long story short, you just gotta connect with people, because when you connect with them and they come to your place, they feel a sense of ownership, and it blows people's fucking minds when they can roll in there on a date or with their parents or whatever and be like, I know the owner.
Yeah.
And then when you show up and you high five them and say, hey, Nicole, how are you? They feel great, and the people who are with them are impressed because Nicole is a part of Kai Bar. And Nicole knows who I'm talking about. Shout out to Nicole.
Sick.
Yeah.
Well, I've already said this, but I just want to say it again real quick. I just want to squeeze it in. I have a lot more I want to chat with you about if I can. But
sure.
I just want to say thank you for taking the time to be here, dude.
Yeah, it was so cool, man. I learned a lot, today, and it was cool being back here. Thank you for hosting me in this special building, and really, you've got a great thing going on here, man. And I'm pretty impressed, and any way I could help out, I'd be happy to, because that's what this business is all about.
I wanna squeeze in that story. I fell asleep when I was telling before.
Okay.
I went to an interview, and it was a really cool new spot that was opening up. I wanted to cook there, and the guy said, "So what do you want to do with the rest of your life? What do you want to do as a career?" And I said, "Oh, dude, I want to do my photography, and like I'm really into snowboarding right now. I want to be a pro snowboarder one day, but I'm doing photography, maybe a professor after I blah blah blah." And the guy goes, "Oh well, it was great meeting you, man, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for someone who wants to cook for the rest of their life, like a chef, like." And I learned something there. I don't know. I don't know the meaning of that story, but it's a story, and we can pick it apart.
Well, I totally get it too, because as an employer, with certain concepts, you don't want someone that is, I think what he was saying was a testament to the passion that they were looking for, whether or not you were going to bring it. They want a dedication and a passion. I get it, and sometimes you got to make some tough decisions on the front end of making some hire, but I could tell that you've got that passion. That guy fucked up by not hiring you, man. I'd hire you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, maybe it's like we talked about before. Maybe this whole time I thought, oh, that's where I fucked up. But maybe it was like we said, like maybe he could have took me on and I could have cooked and I would have taken pride in my work. But maybe that's not, maybe I would have been on the bus a little bit shorter than he expected for the ride. I don't know. It's all crazy, man. It's tough.
You weren't supposed to be on that bus, man.
Yeah, it's all right. I ended up at the By and By. It was a blast.
Yep.
It was really amazing.
Yeah, man.
You like coffee?
I do like coffee. I don't drink a ton of it because caffeine kind of fucks me up. So I start off my day, whenever I can with some weed. I find that,
nice.
That's kind of a better stimulant for me, Makes me happier too.
I used to, I live in Massachusetts. I used to grow it legally.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love that a lot, but it doesn't work for my system as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me just uncomfortable. Like anything I get from weed, I just want to hurry up and go away. Like I don't get anything. Booze, I kind of like a little bit. I kind of like it. But
let me ask you a question. How do you feel about nitro?
Coffee?
Yeah.
Coffee particularly, right? Not nitro the location.
No.
Nitro the item.
Location. Yes.
It's great.
Yeah.
Ish.
What don't you like about it?
Sometimes with cold water extraction, it doesn't extract everything from the coffee. What's a good metaphor?
Having a Budweiser compared to having Newport Storm.
It would be like trying to make strawberry jelly with cold water without cooking it. I mean, you're not changing the sugars. You're not making those chemical compounds happen.
Why do you think people are into it?
Well, because it's totally an awesome, interesting product. It's good. I think it lacks some acidity, right? There's ways to do better down the road. The nitro bar, they do fucking amazing nitro. It's awesome. It has a coolness about it. It's on a tap. It's it's fun.
It's an interesting mouthfeel. I find it to be more viscous.
That's cool.
And I've never been a coffee guy only because of the way that caffeine affects me. I like the flavor of coffee a lot, but I get that edgy, irritable at times.
Oh, really?
I go through phases with coffee, man. I just had like a 2-year phase where I was drinking nitro every day before I went to work, and then all of a sudden it just hit me like that, where it was a little bit too much for me. But I mean, I enjoyed the product of Nitro Brew. I don't know if it was because it seems to be a higher caffeine content, but I also I liked the flavor, and one would last me throughout the day. I would hit it a few times throughout the day. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a trend that's gonna die out?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Jordan would be the better guy to ask about that.
No, I think the act of charging coffee with nitrogen is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I think people are doing cool things with cold brew, like hot water bloom. and stuff like that. You take the coffee, you hit it with hot water, bloom it, release the gases. Maybe that now that's getting a little sciencey out of my realm, but that might start to start the sugars chemically changing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was called simple and complex sugars, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always think of is it called the Maillard reaction?
I'm not familiar, no.
Where potatoes, you cook a potato, it goes from starch to sugar. I don't know if that happens in coffee, so
Yeah.
I'm always learning about coffee. I've
Yeah.
been in the specialty coffee world for about a year. I love it. I learn constantly, all the time. Nick, you looking that up for us? Whether the Maillard reaction happens in coffee or not, because it might not be starches or whatever. Is nitro cold brew coffee gonna stick around forever? I think it has a place. Yes, absolutely. I think so. People do cool things with nitrogen charging in like barista competitions for specialty drinks. Barista competition's a pretty cool thing to look into. They do an espresso, a cappuccino, and then a specialty drink. And so people do things with nitrogen where they'll do espresso and not simple syrups. They do bitters and all these different things they'll do in with the espresso. Throw it in a charging can, like a whipping can. What do you call it?
Sure. Yeah, it's
You have a lingo name or
slang
name for a whipping can?
Fuck. ISI. An ISI. It's Yeah, or you
They'll
just
put a
it
nitro.
gets a charge. It's an ISI charge. You have a little canister that you just screw in, and it goes.
Yep,
And
they'll do a
then,
nitrogen instead of
yeah.
CO2.
Yep.
And then you can pour espresso that way. Someone does like an espresso old fashioned. I've seen that way. So yeah, nitrogen charging's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'm into this new thing I have over here. I sell nitro in my shop. People like it. I like it. I drink it all summer. I have this other cool thing in the shop by Elemental Beverage Company that's called Snap Chill. And I know the story pretty well. I may miss something, but Snap Chilling was created by an MIT student. As his thesis project, he wanted to create iced coffee that wasn't oxidized, wasn't diluted, so not stale, not diluted with ice. Hot coffee, throw ice in it to make it cold, dilution, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to dilute. Dilution is huge in your game, right?
Mhm.
Not huge in my game.
Mm-hmm.
Except unless you're making an Americano.
That's his big thing to ruin
That's the whole thing, right?
Not diluting. I prefer non-dilution, but dilution has its place. Yep. Yep.
My buddy's telling me scotch or whiskey, bourbon. Yes, I'm so ignorant, dude. But you serve it with a dripper, doop doop, to kind of
Sure. Some people
activate it
do.
or something,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Snap chilling, no oxidation, no dilution. You take hot brewed coffee, and he took these coils that would drop the temperature from most likely 200 degrees where he brewed it down to 36 degrees in 8 minutes. These guys are fucking awesome. So they patented this technology, and they have these canned hot brewed coffees. Now, if you took that and nitro charge, that might be fucking cool. I think they have some of them. I think they do it. But Nick, you like your snap chills you had?
Awesome.
My one problem with Nick is he tells me everything's good. It kind of bums me out sometimes.
Do you know what though? Nick will be the first person to tell you something's not cool.
I hope so.
I feel like I got more of that from him.
Oh,
Yeah.
good, because I need
will.
that,
He
especially
will.
from I need that. You know, he's my homie.
Something sucks.
So, cold brew's cool. It's something you can do at home. It's sick.
Yeah.
And some people like that. Some of the acidity is lost. In my perspective, acidity is lost, right? Because acidity is not a crime. Acidity is good in coffee. So with cold brew, you lose a little bit of that acidity, but some people like I don't know if you say roundness. But acidity in coffee is good. One cool thing I heard someone say is if you take a lemon and you bite into it and you get that mouthful of acidity, it's not good, right? That's not pleasant. But if you take lemons and you squeeze them all in a jar and you throw in sugar, now you make lemonade and you're enjoying that acidity. So acidity in coffee sometimes is too much if you didn't get to extract all of those sugars. But acidity, when properly extracted and balanced in a balanced espresso or filter brewed coffee, is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
My new thing is pour over. fuck, man, it's fucking awesome, dude. It really opened my mind to what coffee can be. Another thing I thought a few seconds ago, coffee is so cool. It's like marijuana, and there's a couple other things in the way. This one thing can take on this insane universe of flavors. This is total hit you in the face with strawberry jam notes. And then you bounce over to a Guatemalan coffee, and now you've got toffee and nougat. I made a coffee the other day from Guatemala. It's called Vista Hermosa by Coffee Collective. It smelled just like a Snickers bar.
No
But then you
kidding.
bounce over to, okay, so today in my shop, I made a post about it this morning. I have 2 coffees from the same washing station, both processed in a different way, both roasted by Onyx Coffee Lab. The washed Ethiopian coffee, peaches. Dude, peaches. It's like, holy shit. They call it, what's the word that they use? They don't use peaches in the tasting note, but tasting notes are all about what you know in your head.
Stone fruit.
Stone fruit, yeah, is a general term, right? They used apricot.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know apricot. I think peaches, right? I'm from Fall River, dude. Come
Yeah.
on, man. Back off, dude. I have a very limited
I don't know, man.
limited extent of tasting
They don't grow
notes, all right?
peaches
Come
in
on,
Fall
dude.
River?
No, it's
Right
My
under the
friend-
Braga Bridge there, there's no peach patch.
no, dude. There's no apricots, okay? We have fucking peaches, okay?
Battleship Cove.
Yeah, peaches. It's the fuzzy apple. Tastes like a fuzzy apple to me. You know what I mean? But then you the same process, same washing station, Ethiopian, the Bensa processing station. I'm pretty sure. Again, come on, man. If I fuck something up, come on, man. Naturally processed coffee. The same coffee, different process. Now you've got tropical fruit. Again, they call star fruit, something we don't have in Fall River. All
Yeah.
right, we've got pineapples.
Not
right?
even down at the market basket.
No, dude. Actually, there probably is star
Yeah,
fruit in them. I've
yeah,
seen it.
fuck yeah.
Yeah. Do you use star
We
fruit
knew
at
that
all?
as the Harbor Mall, like back in my day. Like,
Oh, yeah,
it was
that's
a
where
whole
I grew
different
up.
fucking mall. Yeah.
Dude, great ledges to skate in the front of the Harvard Mall.
Yeah, man.
And you didn't get kicked out at 10 o'clock.
No, man, that place was fucking dope.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kinda. It
Yeah.
had nothing in it.
There was a store called Bradley's. It was a chain back in the day. It was kind of a big deal. But I'm pretty fucking old, so
I don't remember Bradley's.
yeah.
I think
an
it's
old school
where
chain.
Burlington
No, you
is
know
now.
what? I fucked up. It was Kmart.
Oh, Kmart, yeah.
Yeah. Kmart's gone.
They were closing for like 15 years.
They were. I was going on a business sale from like 85 to the year 2000.
Yeah. Oh, shit. But yeah, that was a fun place to not go to. Fall River's, like you said, it's a trip, man. It's fucking cool. I want to show it some love. You know what Fall River has that I think about in my business one day, dreams about? Fall River has those mills that is an opportunity to maybe be able to do something cool, like this school they did, like a creative reuse, I think they call it.
Sure.
Newport, I feel like, doesn't have a lot of that. It's Newport's on an island. Property is very valuable, right?
Especially now.
Yeah.
Right now is the highest it's
Stupid.
ever been.
I don't even know
Yeah,
what the
yeah,
hell
by far. I was probably looking to buy a house the next year, but I don't know, I'll probably sit tight for a little bit.
Your dad?
I'm a dad. Yeah.
One kid?
I have two boys. I have my young man who's 12, and then I got a 15-year-old my wife had from a previous relationship. But
Wow, man.
yeah, they're
Older
they're
kiddos.
boys. Yeah, older boys. So
Cool, dude.
yeah, they're fun.
Yeah,
For
I have
sure.
a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they just left the shop. That's part of why I'm a little bit
Wow.
fucking sleepy.
Sweet.
Yeah, I like having them here. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Sweet, dude.
So when you talking to Josh Berman? Yeah. All right. What time is that at?
You gonna come and join us, dude?
Oh man, that would be a lot of fun.
Fuck, can you
ask
convince
some
the
heavy-
wife?
Yeah, I could. I've got the little tool to crack that nut. You know, that'd be fun.
I'd love it if you were here. if you
Yeah,
made it
man,
by-
I would.
fucking love it.
It'd be a really fun time, actually.
So
The
many
three.
stories.
Yeah. It'd be a really fun time.
I'd love to hear the stories.
Yeah,
Let you guys
of
take
course.
over a little bit.
Of course, yeah. We'll.
Well, we got a week to get 2 more microphones in, so.
Well, I'll go pick one up if you're gonna join us
Cool.
for that.
Cool.
Where can I bring my organs? I'll go trade an organ for.
I'll donate semen. I don't know. Are they still paying for that or no?
I don't know.
Bulgaria,
COVID semen?
In Bulgaria, lungs go for about $25.
Really?
And
The fuck?
a
You need
bowl
those.
of potato soup.
If you're lucky.
Mm.
You think COVID increased the price of lungs in Bulgaria?
No.
The supply.
It is an affliction
enough
of the
supply.
lungs.
Maybe liver, but not so much lung.
Yeah, a lot of drinking.
It's okay, I can edit this last part out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to edit this down under 2 hours somehow.
It's okay, we're not down to 2 hours.
It was a good combo.
Half an hour yet.
Well,
Good combo.
we can fucking bullshit as long as you feel like you're having fun, or we can cut it off. Whatever. There's no rules.
I got a little
to
bit more
this.
time left of me.
All right, I would love for you.
Do we have
to-
a bong here?
Dude, so you know what I didn't get into that I was thinking about? So it's been awesome meeting you, dude. You're a fucking
You
blast.
as well, man. You as well.
Sweet.
I told you he's really fun and bold.
I know, but I don't know what the fuck I didn't trust you, man. What the fuck? You're from the lung stealing.
Dude,
I love podcasting. I would come on as like the third wild card anytime you want.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, man.
One of the things I wanted to kind of maybe pick your brain about or see if you have any thoughts about is how bartending and drink making could come into the coffee world now. Like,
Well, I think it has, man. I think that well, first and foremost, like one of my main bartenders right now, he's from the Starbucks world. You know what I mean? He was applying for a job. He really wanted to apprentice for me, and his resume was line cook, sous chef, and then 5 years at Starbucks. And to me, that's like boom.
that's pretty cool.
Those are intangibles right there. So this guy's made high volume beverages and high volume food. So it all kind of came together. So he's gone the reverse role and then definitely taken some of his coffee inspiration and brought it into booze. And then I think there's a place in Providence, the New Harvest.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that I've never been there, but from what I understand, perhaps they have a bar there as well. Or
Oh, yeah?
is there booze involved? I feel like there is.
Cool.
One of our top selling drinks is our espresso.
You have an espresso
martini.
machine?
We do.
What is it?
It's actually a really high tech machine. I think it's from Italy, or it might be from China. It's
How does
called
it work?
Nespresso.
Oh, the fucking dude. Fuck. That's fucking rad, man.
It's the China machine.
That's fucking
So we have
thought up and designed in Italy, created in China, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Fucking sick, man.
Definitely. But you know what, though? It makes the best espresso martini because
Yeah.
9 out of 10 bars will take, if you're lucky, they'll actually brew some espresso and they'll keep it in a bottle in the well. So when you order our espresso teen, I know, killing you. When you order ours, we actually will brew the Nespresso. We use a very different blend. So we use vanilla vodka as our base, which is not crazy unusual. And then we use Tia Maria rather than Kahlua because it's a little bit more tart. And then as the wild card ingredient, we use something called Averna, which is an Italian Amaro. It's a bitter spirit, okay?
Oh, fuck,
So
it's
this
a
brings in
whole fucking world.
totally
layer
different,
in, man.
totally different. So
Holy
you've
shit.
got depth, toffee, roasted coffee.
Where's the sweetness? Is there sweetness in
The
there?
Tia Maria will bring the sweetness, but it's very muted. So I went for a flavor palette that was much less sweet. So it was kind of drinks like an espresso. And the really cool thing about this cocktail is when you make it, you add the Nespresso last because you don't want too much dilution when you're building a cocktail.
Yeah.
You shake the shit out of it. And then you do a technique we call a double strain, which means we've got our Hawthorne strainer, which is the traditional strainer you see on top of the tin. And then we're sending it through like a
Fine mesh.
fine mesh strainer, which is taking the ice chips out of it. The ice chips will kill that foam at the top that we get that people love. So you're getting a black drink with about a 2-inch white foam at the top that acts as a filter to take out some of the bitterness and creates a more round flavor. So our espresso martini is definitely the real deal, and we've put a lot of thought into it, as with all of our cocktails. So yeah, it's and we will not serve it to people if they insert the letter X into into the cocktail. I've made a couple of posts on social media where I'm like, it's espresso, and people are just like, amen. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny, you truthfully give it too many ways, but it's a really neat cocktail, and I've had a lot of fun and success making that drink amongst others. So.
What's your thought on Bailey's in espresso martini?
We use it as an option. I don't put it in there automatically. I mean, I get it. It's just that if you come to my establishment, we're gonna suggest when you order it with Bailey's, we're like, oh, ours is made without Bailey's. We really, suggest that you try it without, and I'm always happy to add it if you're not pleased with it. And 9 out of 10 times, people are like, that's awesome. I'm glad I tried it this way. And it's kind of an extension of the hospitality. You don't make them feel dumb for what they want. If they prefer it with Bailey's, who are you to say whether they're right or wrong? That's right for them, man.
Something Danny Mayer says is, how the saying goes, your customer is always right. Something he says is, most of the times they're not right, but they always want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Customers are most of the times not right, but it's that attention that they want. It's being heard.
Sure.
It's being recognized, and their opinion to matter is what they want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you got the issue of getting people out when it's time to close. I got the issue of opening at 7. Well, I pulled this up because I guess it was in his stories. I'm still trying to figure out how Instagram
What time
even
do you
works.
open at?
7.
7, yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how Instagram works, so it was in his stories, but it was a meme, and it was like a guy like out on a protester out on the street with a sign that says espresso has no X in it.
Guy with sign.
Yeah.
Shout out to Guy with sign.
Yeah.
It's a hashtag all these people.
Do you use? Have you ever heard or used 1724 tonic?
I've not heard of that before. No.
Do you use Craft Beer Guild by any chance?
I do, yes.
Dave, you know Dave?
I don't know Dave. I have a rep named Jared.
Oh, okay. Maybe they're different in different places, right?
Absolutely. There's probably
Just
about
still learning
4 or
about this
5
stuff.
throughout the state. Yep.
Oh, cool. I use this tonic. It's really fucking good. And people told me they have it in the UK. Maybe if you're here next week, I can make you an espresso tonic.
I love that.
I'll start you off with an espresso tonic. So I do tonic, then ice, and you get this extremely effervescent. Here, take this with you. Try it out. It's
Awesome. We'll do.
fucking good, man.
We'll do.
Fucking good. People told me they had it in a gin bar mixed with another tonic that I think was less sweet. I think this one's real sweet and citrus forward, maybe.
Cool.
So I do an espresso tonic, ice, then I. What is decanting?
Decanting is the process of opening up. It's usually used for wine. When you have a super old wine that's been bottled up for a long time, when it sees air, it begins to open up, and then different nuances come about. So traditionally,
you're aerating it. You're pouring it twice.
Exactly. So traditionally, if you look up a decanter, it almost looks like a vase or a vase where the bottom stretches out, so you get as much of the wine hitting the surface area as possible. Opens it up.
Vase.
Yeah, it's really wild.
So I'll pour the espresso in a separate vessel. I don't think it's decanting in this way. So I'll run the espresso in a different vessel, and I'll have the the tonic with ice. Pour the espresso over, and then I take the peel of a citrus. My buddy, who's a bartender, showed me about this, expressing the oils. When you
Beautiful
express
thing.
the oils, I'm expressing the oil. I express the oils like this because I'm still gonna know. Why? It's expressing without you realizing it, right?
Sure.
It fills the air with.
So
lemon.
what I do too is like if you're using most frequently in our business, you're using a vegetable peeler of some sort. So I'll take the fruit And then as I'm peeling it, I'm gonna keep it right over the cup like this, because
Oh, really?
as I'm peeling it, it's spraying already, man.
Oh, shit.
It's probably about half of the oils are leaving that. And then when you hit it again, you're gonna hit it like this, and then you
bit of a
twist it a little
twist.
bit. So that's where it's called a twist, and then you touch it around the rim, and that is such like a huge impartation of flavor. Is that a word? Imparting flavor.
Where does the flame come into play?
Oh, the flame comes into play. As with most flavors, once you flame them, it changes the flavor profile a lot. So
You're changing the sugars, the compounds in the sugar.
absolutely.
Caramelize
So
it.
when you're is it espressing or
Ex-
expressing?
There's no X in expressing, okay, man? Come on, dude.
So yes, you want to get the flame in between the oils and then your spirit. So it's going to blow through like a blowtorch on the top of your drink and give you like a toasted
I always
orange
see that
flavor.
with oranges.
Yeah, you could do it with
I
lemons.
mostly use lemons.
Lemons, you could do it with lemons as well.
Hey,
Yeah.
dude, if you have a second, can I make you an espresso tonic? You can tell me
Yeah, sure.
what
Rock
you
and
think,
roll.
how we can make it better.
Okay.
And the other thing, the main thing I would like to ask you about is, should I serve it with a straw or should I serve it with an open top?
Open top.
All right.
All
Could
day.
you guys bullshit about something while I make an
Yeah,
espresso
of
tonic
course.
real quick?
Of course.
Nice.
Yeah,
Tell some stories
Rock and
about
roll.
fucking the revolving door. I'll be back in. An espresso tonic in the shop, especially, takes a minute. So I'll be right back.
Espresso tonic. That's probably one of my favorite drinks you have, Jordan. But I'm very excited, Jay, to have. Hopefully, if you come in with Josh, so he's.
All right, I'm gonna. I have to text my wife real quick.
Okay. How is she doing, by the way? She makes
doing really well.
amazing pizza, man.
She is. She's good. It's my whole staff over there. Besides myself, is women, so we call them the pizza babes.
Dude, I swear, that's probably the best pizza in Rhode Island. Amanos.
Thank you.
No offense, guys. You make awesome pizza, but whew, man.
Thanks, man.
Where did you get your inspiration for the pizzas? You make some different ones too.
We do. So it's almost kind of a, I take something from my cocktail world and then I bring it over to the food world, and it's just being inspired by an ingredient or two, bringing it over to pizza game. It's crazy. Like I'll get kind of like, some really interesting flavors, and we had an employee be like, ooh, let's use roasted beets and goat cheese and all this stuff, and we come up with these really cool like nuanced pies, and they're good, but then we'll put something on the menu like some chicken fingers and french fries with some honey mustard on it. People are like, yes please, and it'll sound
have to
like
please
fucking
everyone,
crazy,
man.
dude. But the cool thing about pizza is you can put anything on it.
Yeah.
So we're working on a couple different things. A breakfast pizza, which is going to have eggs, bacon, waffles, some maple syrup, and then we got tots, so we can call that hash browns, right?
Just promise you're not gonna use corn syrup.
There will not be any corn syrup. We actually have maple trees in the back of the restaurant that we tap. And
You tap them?
Yeah, we tap them.
Oh, dude, that is sick.
We tap them, and then we cook down and do a whole process where we
You make your own maple
we
syrup?
make our own maple syrup. We have chickens
next
on the
level.
roof that we raise. They're free range.
Those like darker looking ones?
What's that? The dark chickens?
Yeah, the darker feathered ones.
Well, they have the Rhode Island Reds. They're purebred. They're heritage.
What about the seagulls? They're plentiful.
Seagulls hang out down by the Chinese food restaurant. They utilize those a lot more.
It's funny you say that. Okay, so this is a story that I remember. I will tell the story by how I remember it. I don't know how accurate it is, but I believe it's about 98% accurate. So there was this Chinese restaurant across from this school I went to in Bulgaria. And long story short, that restaurant was closed. And I remember a story in the paper was that restaurant was closed because they served dog meat. Because there are a lot of stray dogs in and around my city.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have, I'm not going to mention them, but they still have a chain opened. I hope they don't serve stray
It's a
dogs. but-
Bulgarian chain.
I mean, it's owned by immigrants in Bulgaria. Like, who would immigrate from China to Bulgaria?
I don't know, man. Is there some
It's
sort
like
of
a last resort.
yeah?
It's like a last resort place to go. But
Things have got to be rough in that area of China.
I
In
mean,
order to be
dude,
like, we're going to Bulgaria.
Is that-
fucking move on up.
yay! I mean, I guess if it's between being put in a concentration camp and eating potatoes your whole life, I guess I know which one I would choose.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that's. I might have had dog.
Here's the thing that's kind of fucked up, and this is a whole different podcast. So, why are dogs less acceptable to eat than
I
fucking
know.
cows? You know, there's some
know.
pretty charming cows out there. I'm pretty sure. You know, let's not even go
I
there
know.
because I enjoy a nice, meal of some protein, from the animal variety.
I do as well. I do. I think it's just the culture that we have grown accustomed to. But correct me if I'm wrong, but if any of us here are faced with starvation, with feeding our families, between eating the dog or having our kids or anyone we know die, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
It's survival. And
Sure.
some cultures, it's
It's not ethically wrong to eat meat if
No.
that's the case.
No.
it's not. If there's ethical ways of acquiring your meat, if you're, a bow hunter and you go and you get your own meat and you put the hustle and you drag it back, yeah. If you go to Stop and Shop and buy a steak, I'm guilty of doing that, but it's not. It's very different than getting it yourself.
So you think it's unlikely that the Stop and Shop steak was wrestled to the ground by
By
you know-
men?
Yeah.
No, I believe it was probably raised on a really shitty farm somewhere.
Yeah.
And the cow was probably slaughtered very inhumanely.
Yeah.
But I have stopped eating pork and chicken, and I only eat maybe beef and a lot of seafood.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a whole nother podcast about how ethically things have been
I'm
raised.
down. I want to be in there.
You
So
should
let's
enjoy
drink
that
this.
shit.
Let's drink this drink
Yeah.
before it dies.
We've
We've
put the
got.
last citrus in the water, so I don't have any citrus to.
That's
for the full
okay.
experience.
That's okay. So
And
tell
when
me
it was
about this.
When it's served originally.
Let me give you this, Jordan. I need to.
Sorry, brother. When it's served originally, it's separate from the espresso. The espresso's sitting on the top of the tonic because if it blends together immediately, it does this reaction where it volcanoes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I serve it with a straw, because then maybe people can kind of
Oh, we'll
mix
try it both
at
ways.
their
Yeah.
speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that's wild, man.
Yeah, it's different.
Let's try it this way. I always found that and it's kind of like the same with beer. The foam at the top serves a purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting.
Totally different cocktail.
Really?
So yeah, I would prefer. I'd prefer going out the top and through the foam because it's
Really?
kind of like if you like the stout drinking, the Guinness or whatnot. You talk to anybody who's worked for the the brewery, they'll tell you that it's crafted with the head on
With
top
intention.
of it as totally, yeah, every aspect of it. You know what I mean? And so I'm definitely from that school where I look at foam differently.
This is me. You're watching me create intention in real time. You know what I mean? If you tell me it's right, then that's the intention.
Totally, man. Here's the thing, though. If you look at your consumer, especially with the coffee world, you're dealing with people who are just on the go and they want to fucking get it inside of them, as quickly as possible. And
Well,
you're gonna get people. They're gonna put a fucking lid right on it.
Yeah,
and
I
a
conflict
straw.
with that in ways all the time. There's a lot of ways where I can say, I prefer a pour over with no lid, so you can enjoy the experience. Here's a lid if you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I sell thermoses here. So by Fellow. Fellow's a badass company, and these thermoses, mugs, are awesome. They have a whole open top so you can enjoy the aroma, and they have one that your nose can literally fit in this thing. Then they have another where the top's a bit smaller. It's called the Travel. Yeah, so this
look
is
at
an
that.
everywhere mug. And so an everywhere mug's cool. And dude, I'm not showing off product to fucking sell it. I'm having fun. I love what I fucking do. So fellow everywhere mug's completely open with a sip lid, so your whole face is in there and you're enjoying the coffee. It's with intention, you know what I mean? But then when people, but it's gonna spill. So they do have, thanks Nick, dude, you're fucking hooking it up.
Look at that.
Then they have the Move mug. It's got a splash guard in it. So people like the sip lid, so it's not spilling everywhere. They fucking solved that. Check that out.
No shit.
They solved that where I'm in my bouncy F-250 truck driving. It's like this. It's not splashing out because of this, but I have my whole face in the cup. So there's workarounds for like intention with the drink and convenience as well. So if you enjoy it with no straw, I'm gonna make myself one tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna have it that way. And I'm gonna, if I think it's better too, I'm going to, when I serve it, I'll say, hey, I can put a lid on it with a straw, but I prefer to serve it this way. It kind of looks way cooler too without this lid and the straw too.
Yeah, and you talk about intention, which is a really interesting word when it comes to this stuff.
We're all learning all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean,
Thanks,
going back to the way I serve the espresso martini is like, hey, this is the way we came up with it, is for it to be enjoyed this way. If you're not pleased with it, though, I'll switch it up for you. And it's kind of like if you go to a nice restaurant and a chef who's put a lot of thought into a dish, and then there's persimmon in the dish, and you're like, I don't like persimmon. You know what? The chef put the persimmon in there for a reason, because it counters, the fiddlehead fern or whatever else is going on in there.
Yeah.
And it has a purpose, and you got to give it a shot. If you're willing to go out to this restaurant and be, adventurous and whatnot, just
That's a struggle.
you're there, and you've got someone who's passionate about their craft. Like, they come here, Jordan, and they're like, why are they here? Because they heard you got good fucking coffee, and they heard, that you care about your craft. And if you're
Most
like,
people are that way. They're like, I'm open to, tell me about
let's
it.
go.
Holy shit, you're liking the fucking natural Ethiopian today? It's tropical fruit flavors. I'm all about it. Hit me up.
You got a captive audience, man.
But I did read, so I've been that way. I worked somewhere where someone was like, this is the traditional way I serve things. It has tomatoes. It has cucumbers, tall. I'm talking about you, tall. And that's cool. That's okay. It said, this menu has no substitutions. This is the traditional way it's served.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's awesome. And I agree with that. So I lived kind of by that code a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And one way I grew as a person in the service industry or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I read somewhere the right way to make a coffee is the way that they want it.
Sure.
So if they say I want an extra hot latte, burn the fucking shit out of that milk, dude. Burn it away, because that's the right way to serve it. I want to pour over with sugar and milk. All right, here you go, sugar and milk. I can make suggestions, maybe subtle or I can make suggestions, but still serve it the way they want it. In the end of the day, it's theirs, right?
That's the art form, is finding that in between. Because there's a funny saying that what's the difference between a mixologist and a bartender? And a mixologist
Is a douche.
We did learn that earlier. A mixologist will serve you what they want you to drink, and a bartender will serve you what you want to drink. So
Yeah,
there
fuck elitism.
tell me about it. There is a way around that a little bit, is if you can, it's all about people reading, is you can find a way to introduce them comfortably to something.
Here's the way I drink it.
Here's the way. Hey, give this a shot. If you don't like it, I'll get it to you a different way. Just tell them that. What the fuck does it matter to you if you dump 80 cents of your cost, probably less, down the drain, but then you make a customer that's going to be there for years and years and years, and not only is that customer going to be there for years, but they're going to tell 10 people about it, and you get 10 new people, and then it keeps going and going and going. They say, if people have a bad experience, they tell 10 people. If they have a good experience, they tell 2 people. You know what I mean? They can't wait to fucking spout off about this horrible experience they had at this place.
Sucks.
That's a real thing, man. It really is. So no matter how badly we fuck up, if you read the Yelp reviews of my restaurants, I respond to every single one for
That's
the
cool.
most part, especially the bad ones. And
Do you ever stick up for your clients?
yes, but in a way that they didn't even know until it's too late.
Nice.
And
You
it's
stick up for your employees as well.
I do, and it's a lot of times we stand up for our product, but we always it's always kind of bluntly like, hey, we really strive for X, Y, and Z. I'm sorry that we dropped the ball on this day. I'm sorry. How can I make it up to you?
It's hard to do that. It's hard.
How can I make it up to you? It can be hard. You know what I mean? Or, you can just kind of get over it and then remember why you're in the business, because ultimately at the base of it's to fucking make some money and make a living. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we love doing it.
We love doing it.
It was exciting
For sure,
when we
but
got
you're
into
not
it,
gonna
right?
love being super broke. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
you
fuck
got to
that.
figure out a way to keep the fucking juices flowing. You got to figure out a way to monetize your passion.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, part of what I love is making something that people love. That's fucking cool. It's
Yep.
a cool, like, Jordan, this is fucking great, man.
Mhm.
Wow, that's fucking, and it takes a lot to get to that point. I made a lot of stuff that sucks.
Sure.
I also like to be transparent. If I make something that sucks, I'll drink it with them and I'll be like, hey, that sucked, dude.
Yeah.
Here's I have these coins. Here's a coin. Come in for another drink, dude. That
Yeah.
doesn't suck.
Yeah.
It happens.
Totally.
Especially when you come into my shop, you have a choice of 20 different coffees to try. So I'm doing new things every single day, which is fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks sometimes. Sorry, hey, that's transparent. Full transparency. You come into my shop, if something sucks, it sucked, dude. And I tell my people, if you didn't like it, come back for another one.
Yeah, we are in the people-pleasing business. That's what we do. We're all in it because at the very root of it, we want to please people. So.
The other day, I was like, man, it was kind of a rough day, and I was like, man, it feels like everybody's being a fucking dick to me. And then I realized something I realized over the years is like, I think it was me. It was me, man. It was in me. Like that day, I wasn't into it. Wasn't in it. Maybe the weather. I slept shitty or something. And I was like, no, it's me, dude. I had bad energy coming off of me, and we weren't having a connection like we usually do.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's hard.
sure is. But fucking keep moving forward and rocking out. Simple as that sounds.
Can you guys tell me about Berman? What's Berman all about? You guys used to work at
I
Velvet
think
Door
yeah,
together?
I think you should figure it out.
All right,
I
cool.
think that's the best interview method.
It's been fucking cool getting to know you in real time.
Yeah, man. It's been a pleasure. Nothing I like more than talking about myself.
You must be an artist.
Some people think that I'm a cocky bastard, and I'm not. I'm like half.
No,
as
you're an
cocky
artist.
as I think I am. Yeah. Yeah. So
You must
no.
do great shit. I can't wait to go to Kai Bar.
Yeah, man. We would love to have you. We'll roll out the carpet and give you a good time and
Slice and Co.
Slice and Co. We'll send you over there for slices afterwards, and we'll make a night out of it.
I'm gonna try this dough.
Bring your lady. Bring the kids.
You ever do take home and make pizza? Did you get into that?
We're working on some things right now. Some exciting things.
Do you want to tell us about it, or is it?
Yeah,
it's in
I
the
mean,
making.
Basically, I think that a lot of the people who are in this business and are really talented and really love what they do, they've seen that COVID has created some new ideas and whatnot. I've been doing some Zoom mixology classes that are been wild and busier than ever. It's crazy, but I think about this mixology 101 class that I've been doing for years that introduces people who just want to have some fun and do mixology. I think have you worked a couple with me, right? No? A couple, yeah. All right. So yeah, so we're gonna do the same for pizza. I think it's a cool thing to get people to roll up their sleeves and learn how to make some pizza, and it's very gratifying. And I'm also working very diligently on wrapping up my recipe for a frozen frozen pizza as well. So we can
Wow.
just serve frozen pizza out of the place and
Oh, shit.
basically have a par-baked dough with, unmelted cheese and pepperoni, kind of like you would buy
Can be
at the
tricky
grocery
to-
store. Yeah, it certainly can be. That's why we've been doing a lot of trial and error, and I think we've kind of got it figured it out. So it's a matter of finding the time to package it.
I was gonna say it can be tricky to make a packaged retail product. Some
There's a great place in Warren, Hope in Maine, that's kind of
Oh, yeah.
harboring
so cool.
restaurant people who want to get to the next level and package their
Wow,
stuff.
cool.
So we've been in talks with them too,
That's
as far
cool.
as developing.
I gotta get them on the
product.
show.
Yeah,
That would
that'd
be
be a
awesome.
really good show for sure.
I've talked to them.
Yeah.
I've been to their Wednesday nights,
Cool. Yeah.
and you got the
Great.
Shasta trailer with the mixologist.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
That's a pretty cool trailer.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Unfamiliar.
Oh, you gotta see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't think I could pull it up. It would take a long time to pull it up. I wish I knew that.
But yeah, I hope to be back for. I'll see if I can get here for Berman. What's that? A week from tomorrow. Yeah. Cool.
All right, man. Well, thank you.
That'd be a lot of fun, man. Jordan, great talking to you, man.
Great meeting you.
Good luck to you here in your business. It's looking good, and your passion will prevail
Thank you.
for sure.
Sweet. Thanks, dude.
Rock and roll, man. Yeah.